The ship landed softly on the white stone platform of Prime Academy. Park stepped out alone, carrying only a small bag over his shoulder. The air smelled strange here, like metal and flowers mixed together. 3 suns hung in the purple sky, casting triple shadows on everything below. He was the first human to ever walk on this ground. The academy rose before him like a mountain made of glass and light. It was old. 3,000 years old, they said. Kings and generals and rulers of entire star systems had studied here. Now, a 17-year-old boy from Earth stood at its gates, and he could feel 1,000 eyes watching him from the windows above. Did not look up, he simply walked forward. The main hall was filled with students, hundreds of them. They came in all shapes and sizes. Some had scales. Some had 4 arms. Some floated in the air without wings. Some had skin that changed colors like living paintings. They all stopped talking when entered. He felt their stares like heat on his skin. A tall creature with blue skin and 4 arms stepped in front of him. This was Instructor. His face showed no welcome. "You are the human," said. It was not a question. "Yes. Your kind has only been in space for 200 years. This academy has existed for 3,000. Many believe you do not belong here." Met his eyes without blinking. "I have my transfer papers. They are all correct." Made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Papers? Yes. The Galactic Council in their wisdom has decided to let your species try. We shall see how long you last." He handed a tablet with his room number and class schedule, then walked away without another word. Looked at the tablet. His room was on the 7th floor. He began walking toward the stairs. The whispers followed him like shadows. "Look at it, so small. No claws, no armor. How did they even survive on their planet? I heard humans die after only 80 years, like insects. This is a joke. The council is playing a joke on us." Kept walking, his face showed nothing. On the 3rd floor, someone stepped in front of him. This one was big, very big. He stood nearly 3 meters tall, covered in green and gold scales that clicked when he moved. His eyes were yellow with black slits, like a snake. His arms were thick as tree trunks, and his claws looked like they could cut through metal. This was son of the ambassador. Everyone in the academy knew him. He had never lost a fight. He had never lost at anything. "Human," said loudly. His voice echoed through the hall. More students gathered to watch. "I have heard much about your species." Stopped, he had to look up to Meet's eyes. "Good things, I hope." Smiled, his teeth were sharp and many. "I heard you are weak. I heard you break easily. I heard your species has no natural weapons, no claws, no venom, no armor, nothing." "We have some things," said quietly. "What things? Words, tools, those are crutches for the weak." Leaned down. His breath was hot and smelled like copper. "I think the council made a mistake. I think humans are not ready to walk among real species. I think someone should teach you this lesson now before you embarrass yourself further." The crowd was growing. Students pressed against the walls, watching. Some were already recording on their devices. They wanted to capture this moment. His expression did not change. "What are you suggesting?" Straightened to his full height. His scales seemed to glow with excitement. "I challenge you to a right of standing." The crowd gasped. Whispers exploded like fire. "The right against a human. This will be a slaughter. Someone should stop this. Why let the human learn its place?" An old voice cut through the noise like a blade through water. "A challenge has been spoken." The crowd parted. A being made of living crystal floated toward them. This was Elder, the oldest member of the academy. Some said he was older than the academy itself. Light bent around him in strange ways. His voice came from everywhere and nowhere. "The right of standing is ancient law. Once spoken, it cannot be taken back." The Elder's crystal body turned toward Park of Earth. "You have been challenged. If you refuse, you will be marked as one without honor. You will never be accepted here. Do you understand? Understood. He had read about this before coming. The right was combat, real combat. No weapons, no armor. Just two beings fighting until one could not continue or chose to surrender. He looked at that was massive. His species had conquered 12 star systems through pure strength. His scales could stop bullets. His claws could tear through steel. Weighed 68 kilograms. He had no scales, no claws, no venom. I understand, he said. Do you accept the challenge? Everyone waited, even seemed surprised that the human had not already run away. Took a slow breath. His father had told him this would happen. His grandfather had told him too. Before he left Earth, his grandmother had held his hands and said, "They will test you. They always test what they do not understand. Show them what we are." I accept, said. The crowd went wild, cheering, laughing, shouting. Most of them were already planning where to watch. This would be the most entertaining thing to happen all year. A human fighting it would last maybe 10 seconds. Grinned wide, brave, stupid but brave, the arena, 1 hour. He turned and walked away, his tail sweeping behind him. The crowd followed, buzzing with excitement. Soon stood alone in the hallway, almost alone. A girl emerged from behind a pillar. She was human too, with black hair and worried eyes. Her name was Daughter of Earth's ambassador to this sector. Are you insane? She whispered. Do you know what his species can do? Finally allowed himself a small smile. I know exactly what he is. Then why did you accept? He will destroy you. Picked up his bag from where he had set it down. He looked at with calm eyes. What do you know about my family, miss? She froze. She did know. She had read the classified files. The Park family had trained in martial arts for 6 generations. They were not ordinary people. Oh, she said softly, oh no. Walked past her toward his room. Not oh no, he said, oh yes. In 1 hour, the galaxy would learn what humans really were. The arena sat beneath the academy like a heart beneath ribs. It was old, carved from black stone that seemed to drink the light. Thousands of seats rose in circles around a flat fighting floor, and every single seat was full. Word had spread fast. A human had accepted a right of standing against of. Students had abandoned their classes. Teachers had abandoned their lessons. Even the kitchen workers had come to watch. Nobody wanted to miss this. Park walked down the long stairs toward the arena floor. He could feel the weight of all those eyes. He could hear the whispers, the laughs, the jokes at his expense. Look how thin he is. My little sister could break him. This is cruel. Someone should stop it. Why, he accepted. Let him face the consequences. Kept his eyes forward. His face was calm like still water. Inside, his heart beat steady and slow. His grandfather had taught him this. Emotion was a wave. You could ride it or drown in it. The choice was yours. He reached the arena floor and stepped onto the black stone. It was cold under his feet. He had removed his shoes as tradition demanded. Bare feet, bare hands, nothing else. On the other side of the arena was already waiting. The had removed his upper clothing, showing scales that covered his body like armor plates. His muscles moved under his skin like snakes. He stretched his arms, and his claws extended fully. Each one was as long as a knife and twice as sharp. The crowd cheered for him. They chanted his name. He was their champion, their proof that the old species were still the strongest in the galaxy. Elder floated to the center of the arena. His crystal body cast rainbows on the stone floor. The right of standing, he announced. His voice filled the entire arena without effort. This is the oldest tradition of our academy. Before there were starships, before there were treaties, there was this. 2 beings, 1 challenge, the truth of strength revealed. He turned to face both fighters. The rules are simple. No weapons, no armor, no outside help. You fight until one yields or cannot continue. Death is not intended, but it is not forbidden. Do you both understand?" "I understand," said. His voice was thick with confidence. "I understand," said. His voice was quiet but clear. "Then prepare yourselves." In the stands, pushed through the crowd, she needed to get closer. She needed to see. Her heart was pounding so hard she thought it might break her ribs. She had read the files on the Park family. 6 generations of martial artists. His great-great-great-grandfather had been a master who once defeated 20 armed men with his bare hands. His grandmother had taught soldiers. His father had written books on combat that were studied in military academies across Earth. But this was different, was not human. His bones were dense as metal. His scales could stop blades. His strength was enough to lift a ground vehicle over his head. Could human techniques work against something like that? She did not know. Nobody knew. This had never happened before. Down in the arena was laughing. He rolled his shoulders, and his scales clicked like 100 tiny drums. "I will try to be gentle, human," he said. "Your species is so fragile. I would hate to break you too badly." Did not respond. He was standing in a relaxed position, hands at his sides, weight balanced evenly. His eyes were fixed on, not on his face, on his center, on the place where all movement began. His grandfather's voice echoed in his memory. "Watch the center. The arms lie, the legs lie. The center tells the truth." "Nothing to say?" asked. "Are you scared? You should be. My people conquered 12 star systems. We have crushed species older and stronger than yours. What are humans? Soft things from a small planet. You should have stayed home." Took a slow breath. "Are you going to talk all day?" The crowd made sounds of surprise. Some laughed, others gasped. The human had spine, at least. His eyes narrowed. His smile faded. Brave words from dead meat. Elder raised one crystalline arm. Fighters ready. Dropped into a combat stance. His species fought like predators, fast charges, overwhelming force, claws and teeth and muscle. He had never needed technique because he had never needed it. Strength had always been enough. Shifted his weight slightly. His hands came up, open and relaxed. His knees bent just a little. It looked like nothing. It looked like he was barely trying. In the stands, recognized the stance. It was called flowing water. It was the foundation of Hapkido, the martial art that's family had practiced for over a century. Her breath caught in her throat. "Begin," Elder commanded and floated quickly out of the way. Exploded forward. His species could accelerate faster than most ground vehicles. His claws came up, ready to tear, to break, to end this foolish challenge in a single strike. The crowd held its breath. Did not move backward. He did not try to block. He did not do anything that expected. He moved forward. Toward the attack. Into the space between the claws. Into the place where strength meant nothing because there was no room to use it. It was like watching water flow around a stone. His claws cut through empty air. His eyes went wide. Where was the human? How had he moved so fast? Then he felt something hit his throat. Not hard, just enough. A palm strike to the soft place between his scales where his windpipe was exposed. Choked, his body wanted to stop, to recover, but his momentum was still carrying him forward. Something hooked his ankle. The arena floor rushed up to meet him. He hit the ground hard enough to crack the ancient stone. Before he could understand what had happened, the human was on him, not hitting him, not clawing him, doing something worse. His arm was being pulled, twisted, bent in a direction it was not meant to go. He tried to use his strength to break free, but somehow, impossibly, his strength was being used against him. The more he pulled, the more his elbow screamed with pain. "Yield," said calmly. Roared, he would not yield to a human. He would not yield to anyone. He was the son of an ambassador. He was undefeated. He pulled harder. His elbow made a wet popping sound. The pain was like nothing he had ever felt, white hot, blinding. He heard himself scream, and the sound did not seem real. Released him immediately. He stood up, he stepped back. "Do you yield?" he asked again. Lay on the ground, holding his arm, tears streaming down his scaled face. His whole body was shaking. He could not believe it. He could not understand it. "I yield," he whispered. Silence fell over the arena like snow. Complete, total, absolute silence. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Thousands of beings sat frozen in their seats, trying to understand what they had just seen. 10 seconds. The whole fight had lasted 10 seconds. Elder floated forward. Even his ancient crystal body seemed to flicker with shock. "The challenge is concluded," he announced. "Park of Earth is the victor." Still, nobody made a sound. Walked to where he had left his shoes. He put them on carefully. He picked up his bag. Then he walked out of the arena, up the long stairs, through the silent crowd. Nobody tried to stop him. Nobody said a word. They were all too busy trying to understand how their entire view of the universe had just been broken in 10 seconds by a small, quiet boy from a small, quiet planet. The recording spread across the galaxy like fire through dry grass. Within 1 hour, every student at Prime Academy had watched the fight at least 3 times. Within 6 hours, it had reached every major planet in the sector. Within 1 day, beings on worlds that had never heard of Earth were watching a small human boy take apart a warrior in 10 seconds. The comments were endless. "This has to be fake." "It is not fake, I was there. I saw it with my own eyes." "How? They are one of the strongest species in the galaxy. How did a human do that?" "What even are humans?" Nobody had good answers, not yet. In the medical wing of the academy, lay in a healing bed. His arm was wrapped in a regeneration sleeve that pumped medicine and energy into his broken elbow. It would heal in a week. The physical damage was not permanent. The damage to his pride was another matter. His father had called. The conversation had not been pleasant. "You challenged an unknown species to single combat without any research," the ambassador had said, his voice cold as space. "You assumed you would win because you have always won, and now the entire galaxy has watched you lose to a creature half your size. What do you have to say?" Had not known what to say. He still did not know. He kept replaying the fight in his mind. The charge, the miss, the strike to his throat, the trip, the ground, the arm lock, the pop. 10 seconds. He had trained in combat since he could walk. He had studied under the best teachers his father's money could buy. He had won dozens of challenges against opponents from a dozen species. And the human had beaten him like it was nothing, like it was easy, like was a child playing at being a warrior. The worst part was the look in the human's eyes. There had been no anger there, no hatred, no satisfaction, just calm focus, like a craftsman doing work he had done 1,000 times before. Had been arrogant. He could admit that now. He had assumed that because humans were small and soft, they were weak. He had not considered that weakness might teach them things that strength never could. On the other side of the academy, in a small meeting room, the faculty had gathered for an emergency session. Professor stood at the front. She was a historian, old even by the standards of her long-lived species. Her skin was the color of old paper, and her many eyes blinked in patterns that showed her distress. "I have been researching Earth," she said. "I have been researching it since the fight ended, and I must tell you all something important." She touched a control and images appeared in the air above the table. Images of Earth, blue oceans, green land, white clouds. "We classified Earth as a death world," continued. "Category 12, high gravity, extreme temperature swings, unstable geology, dangerous radiation, predators on every continent, bacteria and viruses in constant war. We assumed that any intelligent life from such a planet must have survived by hiding, by luck, by accident." She changed the image. Now it showed humans, ancient humans with spears, medieval humans with swords, modern humans with machines of war. We were wrong. The faculty leaned forward. Humans did not survive their death world by hiding. They survived by becoming the most dangerous thing on it. They hunted their predators to extinction. They conquered every environment on their planet. They climbed mountains for entertainment. They dove into crushing ocean depths for curiosity. They walked into burning buildings to save strangers. She showed more images. Humans running, humans fighting, humans enduring. Their bodies are weak compared to ours. This is true, but they have something we do not. They have persistence. They can chase prey for days without stopping, running until the prey simply dies from exhaustion. They can survive injuries that would kill most species. They can continue fighting long after they should have collapsed. Instructor spoke up. But the combat, how did the human defeat so quickly? Persistence does not explain that. No, agreed. Something else explains that. She changed the images again. Now they showed humans in white clothing, throwing each other. Humans in padded gloves, striking and dodging. Humans grappling on the ground in complex tangles of limbs. Because humans are weak, they developed something we never needed. They developed fighting techniques specifically designed to defeat opponents larger and stronger than themselves. They call these techniques martial arts. They have been perfecting them for thousands of years. She focused on one image, an old man throwing a young man twice his size. The human boy, Park, his family has practiced a martial art called Hapkido for 6 generations. It uses an opponent's force against them. The stronger you are, the more it can hurt you. Own strength is what broke his arm. The room was silent. There is more, said quietly. I found military records, training documents. Humans have been preparing for contact with alien species for over a century. They knew that they would be seen as weak. They knew that they would be challenged. They have been waiting for this. She turned off the display. Park was not sent here by accident. He was selected. He is the son of one of Earth's most distinguished martial arts families. He has been training since he could walk. He was sent here specifically because humans knew that someone would challenge him. Instructor's forearms tightened. You are saying this was planned, the fight, the humiliation of the... I am saying that humans are not what we thought they were. They are not prey that got lucky. They are predators that learned to wear masks. And now the mask has slipped and the entire galaxy is watching. Elder's crystal form flickered. What do you recommend we do? Professor sat down heavily. She suddenly looked very old and very tired. I recommend we treat humans with respect, because I have seen what happens to species that do not. She paused. Humans have a saying, it is very old. Do not wake a sleeping dragon. I believe they were talking about themselves. The meeting ended shortly after. The faculty left in silence, each lost in their own thoughts. They had all grown up believing that strength was everything, that the strong ruled and the weak served. It was the natural order of the galaxy. But humans had shown them something different. They had shown that intelligence could overcome strength, that technique could defeat power, that a species could be dangerous without being big or fast or armored. It was a troubling thought. In his room, Park sat by the window, looking out at the 3 suns setting over the crystal towers of the academy. His tablet showed messages from home, his father congratulating him, his grandmother sending her love, his younger sister asking if the aliens were really as ugly as the videos showed. He smiled at that last one. No, he typed back. Some of them are quite beautiful, just different. He put down the tablet and watched the suns disappear below the horizon. This was just the beginning. The fight had been necessary, but it was not the goal. The goal was something bigger, something harder. The goal was to show the galaxy that humans belonged here, not because they were strong or fast or dangerous, but because they had something to offer. Knowledge, art, ideas, friendship. The fight had opened the door. Now he had to walk through it. Tomorrow he would go to class. He would be a student like any other. He would learn and grow and make friends if anyone would let him. The galaxy was watching. Time to give them something worth seeing. 3 weeks passed after the fight, and everything changed. At first, the other students avoided Park completely. They would see him in the hallway and walk the other direction. They would enter a classroom and choose seats far away from him. They looked at him like he was a dangerous animal that might attack at any moment. Did not mind, he understood. They were scared, and scared people needed time. He went to his classes. He did his work. He ate his meals alone in the corner of the dining hall. He did not complain. He did not try to force friendship on anyone. He simply waited. The first one to approach him was not who he expected. She was a small creature called a. Her name was something that sounded like wind chimes, but she told to call her Myra because human mouths could not make her real name. She had wings like a dragonfly and skin that shifted colors with her emotions. Right now it was pale yellow, which meant nervous. "Can I sit here?" she asked, her voice soft and musical. Looked up from his meal. The dining hall had gone quiet. Everyone was watching. "Of course," he said. Myra sat down across from him. Her wings folded against her back. Her skin slowly shifted from yellow to a lighter shade. "I wanted to thank you," she said. Tilted his head. "Thank me for what?" "For what you did to." She looked down at the table. "He has bullied many of us for years, the smaller species, the ones who cannot fight back. He would push us, mock us, make our lives miserable. And the teachers did nothing because his father is important." She looked up with eyes that held 100 tiny reflections. "You showed us that size does not mean everything, that the small can defeat the large. That meant something to many of us." Was quiet for a moment. He had not thought about it that way. "I am glad it helped," he said finally. "But I did not fight him for you. I fought him because I had no choice." "I know, but the result is the same." Myra smiled. Her skin shifted to a warm orange. "You are not what we expected humans to be." "What did you expect?" "Honestly, we expected a weak, frightened creature that would hide in the corners and try not to be noticed. The reports said humans were fragile, short-lived, without natural weapons." Nodded, all true. "But you are not fragile, not inside." Myra touched her chest. "In here, you are stronger than anyone I have met." After that day, things began to change. Other students started approaching. At first just one or two, then more. The small species, the weak ones, the ones who had always been at the bottom of the academy's invisible hierarchy. They had questions, so many questions. How did you do it? The thing with the arm. Can humans really chase prey for days without stopping? Is it true your species once went to war with itself, using weapons that could destroy cities? Do all humans know how to fight like you? Answered as best he could. He explained that most humans did not know martial arts. He explained that the things humans had done in their history were not always good. He explained that strength and violence were not what made humans special. "Then what does?" a young asked. He was covered in soft fur and had huge dark eyes. Thought about it for a long time. "Stories," he finally said. "Stories. Humans tell stories. It is how we learn, how we remember, how we pass knowledge from one generation to the next." He smiled. "My grandmother taught me to fight, yes, but she also taught me that fighting is the last choice, not the first. She taught me through stories about our ancestors, about their mistakes and their victories, about what they learned." He looked around at the small group that had gathered. "Humans are not strong because we are big or fast or armored. We are strong because we remember. Every lesson our ancestors learned, we keep. Every mistake they made, we try not to repeat. We stand on the shoulders of everyone who came before us." The students were quiet, thinking about this. "We have stories too," Myra said softly. I know every species does. That is what connects us. That is what makes us all people, regardless of what shape our bodies take. It was at this moment that appeared. The crowd went silent. The big walked slowly toward them, his arm still in its regeneration sleeve. His scales looked duller than before, and there were shadows under his yellow eyes. Everyone tensed. Some of the smaller students hid behind others. But did not look angry, he looked tired, and something else, something that took a moment to recognize. Humble. Human said, I need to speak with you. Stood, then speak. There was silent for a long moment. When he finally talked, his voice was quiet, meant only for ears. I have not slept well since our fight. I keep thinking about what happened, how you defeated me, how you could have broken my arm completely but chose not to, how you could have kept hurting me but stopped when I yielded. He paused. My people respect strength. It is our way, but I have realized that there are different kinds of strength. The strength to destroy is easy. The strength to show mercy is harder. Said nothing, he simply listened. I was wrong about humans, I was wrong about you. I let my pride and my assumptions blind me, straightened. Among my people, when we are wrong, we admit it publicly. So I am telling you now in front of these witnesses that I was wrong, and I am sorry. The watching students could not believe what they were hearing. Of apologizing, it seemed impossible. Bowed his head slightly, apology accepted. There is more, shifted uncomfortably. I wish to learn what you did in the arena, the way you moved, the way you used my own force against me. I have never seen anything like it. I have been the strongest in every room my whole life, and for the first time I understand that strength alone is not enough. He met's eyes. Will you teach me? The question hung in the air like smoke. Studied the carefully. He saw no deception, no tricks, just a proud being who had been humbled and wanted to grow from the experience. Teaching is not easy, said. You would have to start from the beginning. You would have to forget everything you think you know about combat. You would have to be humble and patient. These are not qualities they are known for. I know, his jaw tightened, but I am willing to try. Was quiet for a long moment, then he smiled. Tomorrow, early morning, the garden near the East Tower, where something you can move in. His eyes widened. Then he nodded sharply like a soldier receiving orders. Tomorrow, he agreed. He turned and walked away, his tail swinging behind him. Myra's skin had shifted to bright pink with amazement. Did that just happen? Sat back down and returned to his meal. It did. You are going to teach the one who tried to kill you. He did not try to kill me. He tried to prove that he was superior. There is a difference. Took a bite of something that tasted like spicy bread, and now he wants to learn. That makes him a student, not an enemy. He looked up at the watching faces. That is another thing humans believe. Anyone can change. Anyone can grow. You just have to give them the chance. The small group of students exchanged looks. Something was shifting in the academy. Something important. For the first time in 3,000 years, things were becoming different. 1 year passed at Prime Academy, and Park was no longer alone. Every morning before the three suns rose above the crystal towers, a strange group gathered in the garden near the East Tower. There was the who had once been his enemy. There was Myra, the small with wings like light. There was the with soft fur whose name was. There were others too. Beings from a dozen worlds, all different shapes and sizes, all wearing loose clothing they could move in. And there was, standing at the center, teaching them. Again, he said calmly. Charged at him. That had been training for a full year now. He was faster than before, more controlled. His scales no longer clicked with nervous energy. His movements were smooth like flowing water. But was smoother. He stepped to the side at the last moment, guided its arm, and used this momentum to send him tumbling gently onto the grass. Better, said, but you are still thinking too much. Your mind should be empty. Let your body do what it has learned. Got up brushing grass from his scales. Easy for you to say. You have been doing this since you could walk. And you have been doing it for 1 year. That is not long. Be patient with yourself. The training continued as the suns rose. Students practiced throws and locks and strikes. They practiced falling safely and getting up quickly. They practiced breathing and focusing and remaining calm under pressure. None of them would ever be as good as. That was not the point. The point was to learn a different way of thinking, a way that did not depend on being the biggest or strongest, a way that anyone could use regardless of their body. After training, walked to his first class of the day. The hallways were different now. Students no longer avoided him. Some nodded in greeting, some waved, a few even stopped to talk. He was not popular exactly, but he was respected, and more than that, he was accepted. Fell into step beside him. She had become his closest friend over the past year, the only other human at the academy. "The ambassador from Earth arrives today," she said quietly. "There is going to be a ceremony." Nodded, he had heard. "They want you to speak." He stopped walking. "Me, why?" "Because of what you have done here. The way you have changed things. The council is impressed. They want to accelerate human integration into galactic society, and they see you as a symbol of what humans can be." Frowned. "I am not a symbol. I am just a student." "You are both," smiled, "whether you wanted it or not." The ceremony was held in the Great Hall that afternoon. Every student and teacher in the academy attended. Dignitaries from a dozen worlds sat in places of honor. The Earth ambassador, a tall woman with silver hair, stood at the front with Elder. Sat in the crowd with his friends, was on his right, massive and silent. Myra was on his left, her wings folded, her skin a calm blue. Behind them sat and the others who had trained with them. Elder's crystal form glowed brighter than usual as he addressed the assembly. 1 year ago, a human walked through these doors for the first time. Many of us expected nothing from him. Some expected him to fail. Some expected him to flee. What he did instead surprised us all. The Elder's light shifted, casting rainbows across the hall. He taught us, not just combat, though he did that. He taught us that our assumptions were wrong. He taught us that strength has many forms. He taught us that the small can teach the large and the young can teach the old. He turned toward the section where sat. "Park, please come forward." Did not want to. He was not comfortable with attention, but gave him a nudge with his elbow, and Myra whispered, "Go," and so he stood and walked to the front of the hall. The Earth ambassador smiled at him. Her eyes were kind. "Speak from your heart," she said quietly. "That is all anyone can do." Faced the assembly. Thousands of beings from hundreds of worlds all watching him. He took a breath. "When I came here, I was told that humans did not belong. We were too young, too weak, too primitive. Many of you believed this. I understand why. We are new to the galaxy. We have much to learn." He paused. "But we also have much to teach. Not combat, not war. Those are small things. What humans truly have to offer is our way of seeing the universe." He looked out at the faces watching him. "We believe that anyone can change. We believe that enemies can become friends. We believe that the measure of a person is not what they are born with, but what they choose to do. We believe that strength without wisdom is dangerous, and that true power comes from lifting others up, not pushing them down." His eyes found in the crowd. 1 year ago, challenged me to a fight. He wanted to prove that humans were weak. Today, he is one of my closest friends. He trains beside me every morning. He has taught me about his culture, and I have taught him about mine. We have grown stronger together. Scales shifted to a deeper green. Among this was a sign of pride. This is what humans offer the galaxy. Not weapons, not technology, connection, understanding. The belief that we are all more alike than we are different, regardless of how many arms we have or what color our skin is or how long we live. Straightened. Humanity is ready to take our place among the stars, not as conquerors, not as victims, as partners, as friends, as members of a galactic community that includes everyone. He bowed slightly, the human gesture of respect. Thank you for giving us this chance. We will try to be worthy of it. The hall was silent for a moment, then stood, his massive form rising above the crowd, and he brought his claws together in the sign of approval. Myra rose beside him, her wings spreading, her skin glowing gold, stood and then others and then more until the entire hall was on its feet. It was not cheering exactly. Each species had their own way of showing respect, but the meaning was clear. The message had been heard. Elder's crystal form pulsed with warm light. The Galactic Council has made its decision. Earth is hereby granted full membership in the galactic community. All restrictions on human travel, trade, and education are lifted. He turned to, and Park is hereby named Cultural Ambassador, the youngest in the history of the Academy. May he continue to teach us all. Later that evening, sat in the garden with his friends. The three suns had set and strange stars filled the purple sky. Myra's wings caught the starlight. Scales reflected it. His fur seemed to glow. Cultural Ambassador, said. Impressive title for someone who once beat me unconscious. I did not beat you unconscious. I broke your elbow. There is a difference. A small difference. An important one. Myra laughed, the sound like bells in the quiet garden. You two are like brothers now. It is strange and wonderful. Looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there was Earth, his home, his family. He would see them again soon. But this was home now too. This strange school on a strange planet with strange friends who had become as close as family. Do you ever regret it? Asked quietly. Coming here being the first. Thought about it. The loneliness of those first weeks, the fear before the fight, the weight of representing his entire species. No, he said finally. I do not regret it. How could I? I found all of you. Made a rumbling sound that might have been embarrassment. Myra's skin shifted to a soft pink. His tail wagged unconsciously. Besides, added, someone had to be first. Someone had to open the door. Now others will follow. Humans will come here to study. They will go to other worlds. They will learn and grow and become part of something bigger than just one small planet. He smiled. That is worth any price. Above them, a ship crossed the sky. A human ship, the first of many. Inside were students, diplomats, scientists, artists. Humans ready to explore a galaxy that had just become a little more welcoming. The galaxy had tested humanity. Humanity had passed. Now the real adventure could begin. In the garden of Prime Academy, under alien stars, a human boy and his strange friends sat in comfortable silence, watching the ship pass overhead. Tomorrow there would be new challenges, new lessons to teach and learn, new misunderstandings to overcome. But tonight there was peace. And that was enough.